Let's talk about the armband. Whoop, the armband. I don't actually know how you pronounce it, but we're going to talk about that and we're going to continue on with the AirPods. Last brainstream, we talked about the FDA approving finally the over the counter headphones, hearing aids. And I think it was the first software hearing aids feature that has actually been approved. So quite exciting, quite interesting. And we started getting into, before we lost time, we started getting into this idea of what is it going to look like when you're going to wear AirPods all day? And the idea of sensors and biometrics and the future of healthcare, and also getting into personal assistants. So let's get into, okay. So let me wrap it around broadly and then we'll kind of jump into it. The idea of having something always available, always on, is, it's easy to say, and it's also in a way easy to think like, okay, I understand what you're trying to say, but it's very hard to appreciate the actual power of it. A lot of these new devices that are coming out these days that people are raving about, not necessarily in the hearing aids, hearing aids or wearables or things like that, but lots of products, they change the game very subtly because people have not really understood their power until a company or startup has come out and gone, this is a little niche that we are going to make just a little bit better, and this will blow your minds. Like, okay, I'm not going to give an example, but I'm going to jump quickly to Alexa. Alexa's power was that she was always available, always on. Having that ability for a personal assistant is very hard to explain, but having that for biometrics is also something that's very, very difficult to like really understand. For me, this idea, and I want to see if I can convey it in this brainstream, because I know so, and let me actually put across what's scary. A lot of people get scared that they're going to get tracked. And I'm not here in this brainstream to say you will never get hacked. But what I'm saying, you can do things to mitigate that, and also by using companies that are more likely to keep things on device rather than chuck them onto the cloud and use levels of encryption. Nothing is foolproof, so I want to kind of say that in the beginning. Maybe you're going to tune out of this brainstream from now and go, okay, that sounds too scary. But for me, the concept of being able to take my biometrics and track as much as possible and take the trends, the best data, and help me improve my the way I live, help me understand what's going wrong, and help me optimize my day, my life, my approach. It sounds incredibly enticing. There's people out there today that spend millions of dollars on buying, like, on creating huge home labs. There's a guy I think specifically that I'm thinking about right now. I think his name is Brian Johnson, and he's trying to, I don't know if it's trying to reverse aging, but he's trying to like stop it or slow it down as much as possible. And he has spent millions of dollars onto basically tracking every single piece, every single thing in his body. Now he is an extreme. He will be the first one to admit that. But what he does in his videos, the ones that I've seen, is he tries to distill it to the layman. And also he's got like, let's say, nutrition or pills or things like that, where he says like, I've done all the research and the work. I'm making this as transparent as possible. And I want to make it that you don't have to go and take all these crazy supplements on pills or like do all your research. Like, I've done it all for you. I've put in all the papers. I've done all the transparent work. You know, I've done all the work. I'm being as transparent as possible. And here you go. Here is the capsule, or here is the powder, or things like that. Actually, a side note, which might go into a brainstorm another day. One of my dreams. Well, let me not say dreams. I'm going to say the fantasy, because like I don't really have a dream right now to open up my own restaurant, but I, at a point, was very, like, kind of obsessed with these ideas of, like, Soylent Green, well, not Soylent Green, but Soylent, and and nowadays you have AG1, you have Huel, you have all these, like, companies that are kind of trying to give you all your nutritional value. Well, AG1 is all your, like, vitamins and things like that in, like, powder form, and then it's like, okay, well, you know, Soylent had a whole community of people that would take this powder, and they would say, okay, like, here's ingredients of putting in a smoothie and making it taste good. And then they came out later with drinks and ready-made bottles that, okay, you're not doing the powder and things like that. This seems like a protein shake, but it's hiding all your nutritional values. And I was like, imagine if I could get something, work on building it, like gathering a powder, right, of all the nutritional things that you need in a day, plus all the vitamins and things like that. Literally, like everything that you absolutely need to put in your body, the healthiest things, and put them in food, put them in a restaurant or a bakery or something like that. Because the first thing when I told people that I was interested in that, because for me, a lot like the way that I prefer to eat is it's more like it's fuel for my body. Like I'll appreciate a good meal, but like at the end of the day, I'm here to really just make sure that my body keep going. I'm not here to serve and salivate on food all day. I'm not a foodie in that sense. People are like, oh, you're losing the social aspect, things like that, and I was like, for me that wasn't such a big deal, but I was like, in my head I was like, if you need the social aspect and you want to like bite down and have the crunch and things like that, combine them together. Imagine if you go to a restaurant, even a fast food chain, and you order a hamburger, and nowadays you're like, oh, it's cooked with this and that and this. Imagine if its basic building blocks are all your nutrition, or like your entire nutritional value, or your entire vitamin value for the day in that one burger. Now, you can go into all different areas. You can say, no, I'm only going to put a third, and therefore I want to serve you all the meals. But you will make sure that in any meal that you get in this restaurant, any food kind of thing, there will be somehow all the nutritional values, all the vitamins, and everything you need for the day. You can play around with this and say, and you can even build on this and say, okay, what about I'm going to say Impossible Burger, because the lab grown meat, this idea of like 3D printed meat, all that. So you can build on that and like literally have full on burgers that you have not harmed, you have not killed, you have not done anything to any animal. There's no actual animals, and the entire building blocks is printed up with every single thing you need. And it could be a milkshake. It could look like the worst thing for you. But having a restaurant, a chain of restaurants, or even a chain of bakeries that you come and you buy a croissant, but you've just had your entire breakfast, like a healthy breakfast. Whatever. I don't know if this brainstream is going to become like that. Is going to now focus on all that. But anyways, that was something over here. So coming back onto tangent, this idea of being able to track yourself all day, but get all the insights that you need to say, like, imagine if you could just query and say, hey, I don't feel good today. I feel like what has happened in the last 24 hours? Like, did I eat something differently? Maybe I'm gassy today. Why? What have I eaten in the last thing? Can you see a pattern? Can you see a trend? Is there something over the past day, week, or even year that you can look at and say, hey, the last times I felt this way, this has happened. That amount of data on your own device that's got agents that are poking through this data, but also connected to research documents that are also looking around all the latest trends, being able to actually get definitive reasons without having to go to a doctor and deal with all these things. This is to me like the future. So it's very exciting to see these things. Like Whoop, I think is basically like a tracker that's got an armband around it. But the difference between that and anything else you see is that Whoop is designed to be worn the entire time, and it's actually got a pretty ingenious thing where the charger sits on top of it. So you charge the charger separately, and then it like clips on top of it. So it seems like a watch, but you never take it. You don't take it off to charge. You put the charger on it. Interesting concept. But like imagine that idea for AirPods. But AirPods, the problem is it blocks your ear canal. So imagine if you had a hearing device that never blocked anything, never psychologically raised a barrier between you and others, was not uncomfortable to wear all day. You could comfortably wear it all day. You didn't have battery life issues. You solved that for whether it's something that Whoop did, or you're solving with other things, or you're solving it with friction and different types of like energy, creating energy, solar power, like tiny. Anyways, I'm sprouting off quick things because I'm nearly at the end. But imagine you had that. What would that look like? And right now I'm just leading on into the personal assistant because we're going to get into that. But obviously these things in the future are going to have lots of sensors, probably even more than your Apple Watch. And that's the future of the AirPods, in my opinion. And imagine if they started designing that for all day, which in the current form factor is very difficult. Anyways, that's sensors. We went into a lot of different things over here. I don't know if I'm going to do another one this week. Brainstream, probably going to do another one soon. That's it for today. I will see you guys in the future.